Grab some popcorn because I'm going to talk in depth about the importance of marketing. Welcome to the DO Boxing Show. I'm your host, Dameon Okposio. Thanks for tuning into this episode. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the importance of marketing. There's a lot of great fighters in the sport, especially from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And, we have to kind of export our talent and let people know what's going on. Sometimes some of the best fighters are the least known. And when it comes to marketing, it's so important because it can translate into money. And that is important not just for professionals, but also for amateurs as well. There's countless times when amateurs are going to need plane fare, hotel accommodations, training expenses like vitamins, food, and equipment in order to help them excel in their career. A lot of times when people start to decide to do marketing, it comes right at the time when they need the money. And when you're trying to get money at the time right when you need it, sometimes that's the most difficult time to get it. There has to be a plan in place, and it's good to have a plan 6 months out, a year out, and multiple years out. Planning ahead, working hard, and developing an account where you have some money to draw on when you need it is very important. And that's why I always advocate for fighters to be working, whether they're amateur or professional, to continue to put money aside. One of the most important things is you have to invest in yourself. What do I mean by investing in yourself? You have to put money into things that are not going to give you an immediate return, but are going to give you a return down the road. So what are some of those things? One of the things I talked about in the past and still holds true even in this digital era is fighters having a business card. Key. It's an inexpensive way for you to give your contact information to a lot of people. When I'm talking about business cards and giving them to people, I'm not talking about necessarily your friends, which you can give it to them and work through them to the people that they know. What I'm talking about when I'm talking about business cards is you can put amateur boxer, your name, email contact, social media information on there, and a telephone number like a cell phone. One of the things about people with disposable income that are out there right now, and I'm talking from the standpoint of it being January 16, 2018, a lot of people 40 and up may or may not be on Facebook. People with disposable income are going to be around 40 and up. Either they're going to have grown kids or they're really into a profession and they're settled. And the older you get in terms of 50 and 60-year-old with people that have disposable income, it's likely that they're not going to be on social media. Even though a lot of people are on Facebook, a few, older people are on Instagram, a lot of people aren't. I know somebody that's a self-made millionaire, he's in his 70s, and he's never been on Facebook. And he gives a lot of fighters opportunities, he sponsors a lot of fighters. So if you want to reach him, how are you reaching him if all of your information is only digital? You have to have a way to be able to get your information across on multiple levels. Digital is great because it is the future and more people are getting onto it. Right now it's free, so I think it's the smartest thing that you can do is to have some sort of a digital profile. A lot of people are creating Facebook fan pages. I think that's really good because Facebook, there's no limit to the type of written content or video content that you can put on. Instagram is good too, but the videos are limited, but you can still put a lot of posters and you can put a lot of text. And Twitter's always good for engaging with people in the moment. If you're not doing some sort of digital marketing, you need to get somebody that can assist you with that. I've talked about team building in the past. This is one of those things. If your boxing coach isn't doing it, if you're not doing it, which I recommend all athletes should have some hand in some sort of social media because it's important, especially for the people that are going to be coming out and buying tickets, whether you're an amateur or professional. But if you're not doing it, then you should be having somebody within your team, whether it's a volunteer, brother, sister, father, that does it for you. It's the way that you can make noise and let people know. There's a kid, young kid, out of North Carolina named Michael Williams Jr. And I follow him because he's got tons of content out there on him, on his training, on his fights, and I see it all the time. So now I've become a fan just by the sheer volume of information he has out there. It's easy to access. I could see what kind of a talent he is, how active he is, how hard he's training, and that comes just back to marketing. That's how you sell tickets. If people don't see what you're doing as you're going along, it's going to be hard for them to be motivated and geared up to watch you fight. When you build a profile and you show people that you're training, you don't necessarily have to brag about what you're going to do or say you're going to kill this person or that person. Just the fact that, you're getting up, you're running, you're going and you're hitting the gym at this time, or you're leaving work and doing this, and your goal is to do that. That's enough. That's very interesting for a lot of people, especially that haven't chosen their career of boxing, whether it's as an amateur or professional. That's very interesting. And, even for other athletes, young athletes coming up, seeing what you're doing, you could be a role model to those young kids or those young athletes. And, those guys that are looking up to you are going to become your fans as well. So there's multiple purposes. Number one, it's great for documentation because even amongst the organizational ranks of amateur boxing, sometimes there isn't great record keeping that's kept. So if you keep a record of your own accomplishments, that's something that you can put on a resume or use as a selling feature in the future when you're trying to land deals for marketing or sponsorship. Second thing is, it's good to just put it out there so people can follow your journey. People like a storyline. And, if you are not showing people the process of getting there, they may take for granted what it took in terms of the sacrifices. So, when you're keeping people up to date on what you're doing every day, the struggles you're going through, and how you're persevering through them, it helps build a storyline. It helps build a relationship even when you're not around with those people in person. It helps build a relationship because they understand you're working extremely hard, and you're putting in lots of hours to try and make, your dream come true. And lots of people find that interesting to follow. I find it interesting to follow because everybody's got a story, whether they become Olympian or not, or whether they turn professional or not. Don't discount your story, and don't be swayed by the amount of viewers that you have, subscribers, or friends. Don't be dissuaded by that. If you have 1, 2, 3 followers, compared to somebody having thousands, you should still appreciate those 1, 2, 3. If you have, one of the right people following you, like a sponsor, or a promoter, then that could pave the way for you. Somebody could have 5,000 followers, but if none of those people are spending any of their money or actively doing anything for that person except watching their videos, then that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be having more value than you. The important thing is to get the story out there. If you're looking to make money, and if you're looking to have an income from what you're doing, you don't have to dedicate all your time to marketing, but it is important, and it is important to invest in yourself. Business card is the first step, and it's the easiest thing that you can do. The second thing is, to call the local newspapers and try and get them to, write about the things that you're doing. Write the stories yourself, send them into the newspapers, invite them to come out to your training, and try in that method. Now, you might not have a lot of success with local papers, because I've covered in the past that if they're not getting advertising from boxing, a lot of times they won't come out. But if you don't try, they're 100% not going to come out. if you do try, even though if you may not have spent any advertising with them, if it's a slow news day, or if you happen to talk to somebody in the sports department or the editor's a boxing fan or a sports fan, you may get lucky and they may come out, bring a camera, and do a little story. And, if they do it once, continue to try. They're not going to come out every time, but maybe out of every 10 times you ask them, they come out once. And that's going to be extra coverage for you. It's going to be building your public profile. And, that's going to assist and translate into potential sponsorship or potential ticket sales down the road. So if you have any other specific questions related to boxing, I'm going to try and break down as many different aspects of boxing from sports to business. But remember, you can ask us any questions through Twitter at DOKPOSIO, email okposio@hotmail.com, and don't forget to subscribe to get every episode of the DO Boxing Show. Thanks for tuning into this episode, and we'll catch you on the next one.